right? It's a novelization of my experiences with Quentin Tarantino and the movie Critic, right? 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 So, right, the main question, right, that everyone around him is asking is like, why didn't I just do it? Right? And seeing what it is now, right, I wish that I had done it because it should have never become what it is now. But at the same time, right, I see that I chose the right side because I would never cast my allegiances with anything that smacks of this depth of evil. That there is no place in my heart for evil of this magnitude. Right? That he, right? He could have forced me to sign an NDA, paid me pennies, right? Called me a loser all over town, and that would have been just fine. That would have been just fine, right? But instead, right? He said, "Oh no, you know, I'm the only one who can use wisdom, right? And if he doesn't, right, want to submit to me and my power, then I'll use it to destroy him, which is an egregious, disgusting sin against God and nature and man, right? That we're all, Buckminster Fuller, we all come into the world under similar conditions, naked, ignorant, and completely helpless, right? That there's nothing better about him than me, right? There's nothing better in me than me about him, right? That we're both equal under the eyes of God, right? And so we're allowed to have our machinations, right? This is the point, right? We're allowed to say, no, this is the boundary, and if you don't figure out how to jump the hurdle, then you don't get to finish the race, and that's perfectly fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right? But to say that this race defines, your life or your death, right? That now you've crossed into the realm of I am God. Now you've crossed into the realm of I decide if you live or die based on this thing, right? And so, right, if it's a mystery, right, if we're talking about the mystery traditions, right, you say, why didn't I do it, right? Then I would say because the mysteries are twofold, right? That he thought that he was initiating me in something, right? Namely the lesser mysteries, right? That which is the question, right? Which is there's your ignorance, right? You'll never circumvent it, right? You can learn, right? Through reading, through scholarship, through austerity, you can become wise, right? But you will never be actually like God, despite eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? That these are the lesser mysteries is the question. This is your ignorance, right? You can never circumvent it, right? There is a mysterious quality that allows life to proliferate, right? And so, right, I was initiating him, right, into the greater mysteries. And I know it's pretentious, right? It's like, right? But, right, there is a question, right? It's a palpable question, right? And that's what leads you to, right, books like this, right? That's what leads you to wisdom, right? In seeking the answer, right? Right? But the answer, right, is that while you can never truly know, right? You can understand that love is the principle that guides the engine of the world, right? That the sun, right? That nature gives and gives and gives of itself perpetually forever, right? And so this is the wisdom that Diotima espouses to Socrates in Symposium, right? That the spirit of true love is a dirty hobo, right? Sleeps on the dirt, has no shoes, right? And he's begging constantly because it gives it has qualities from both parents, right? That it gives and gives and gives and gives and gives, right? like God, like the spirit of deity, right? Until there's nothing left to give, and then it has to beg, right? Right? So there's the question, and then there's the answer, right? Right? Am I the Hierophant of the world? You know, I would never say that. I would never say that. Right? But, right, I knew the game that he was playing. Right? And so, right, I guess we both failed. I don't know. Right? Do I regret it? Yeah, I guess I do. As far as me living in palpable fear that assassins are going to come here at any minute, right? My anxiety is just all the way up there, right? Right? So, because I don't care about power, I'm not interested in power, right? But he obviously has a palpable darkness and evil, right? So, he got what he wanted. But, right, again, right, the pendulum swings both ways. I'm all the way in his mind, too, right? Now, I'm not evil. I'm not actually evil, right? I would never conspire towards, right, compelling someone to madness and suicide. That's, right, that's a palpable evil. His soul is gone forever, right? So this is why I wrote the Pope, right? This is why we're talking about it, right? Because, right, all that's left is to talk about it, right? Right? I'll never be more than my shortcomings, just like him, right? That this is what he wanted, right? And so I write everyone every day. I write the press every day, the New York Times, right? Right, WME, right? William Morris Endeavor is a satanic institution, right? That they insulate and support Quentin Tarantino's base evil schemes, right? His agent, Mike Simpson, has known about me for over a year, right? Let me write 10 love sonnets to a woman who doesn't exist, right? Right? And so that's, right, like that, and that occurred over a year ago, right? And so that's my point, right? That if they, right, if it wasn't completely fucking evil, right, then they would have reached out and said, no, you blew it, right? Joke's on you. There's no daughter. No one loves you, right? You signed this NDA, right? Instead, right, everyone in that office knows who I am, right? And by the end of it, they all felt sorry for me, right? That I came in there and I raged, right? Gave him everything he wanted to look completely insane, right? Which is to say, I imprinted my psyche inside of them, all of them, right? That they'll never, right? Boom, seared. Like a thing being often read, grown seared and tedious, right? But after the poems, right? After the months dragged on, right? I remember the last time I went in, I could tell. I really could tell that they felt sorry for me, that they knew that I was just trying to resolve it, to know definitively what the truth is. And now I see the truth, right? That it was all an effort to compel me to blow my brains out. There's no other way to interpret it, right? Right? That he has created a pathological psychology in both of our minds, right? And so if he doesn't want to spend time together, right? If he doesn't want to forge real memories, if he doesn't want to heal together, right? Then that means we will both be mentally ill forever. Therefore, that means that he intends for me to die imminently. There's no other way to interpret it. Right? There's no other way to interpret it. Right? So, Robert De Niro insulates evil, right? Trey Anastasio and Fish practice black magic with Quentin Tarantino, right? Martin Scorsese insulates the dark arts and supports satanic occultism, as does Paul Schrader, right? As does the Discovery Institute. Doctors David Berlinski and Stephen Meyer are charlatans and frauds who insulate the dark arts. They're hacks and frauds. And so is his daughter, Claire Berlinski. She's not interested in journalism. Right? All these people insulate evil. David Mamet insulates satanic occultism and has turned away from the light of God, which he knows to be real. Right? And this is all in an effort to, like, oh, we're all famous. Like, oh, we got to protect Quentin. Like, Quentin's in the club. We're all in the club. And, right, it doesn't matter how debased he has made this whole thing. It doesn't matter how debauched this entire thing is. Right? That he's in the club. We're all in the club. And so we gotta protect him. Right? And just Brian will just look insane. Right? And so what I'm saying is that, right? That I don't care what they all think, right? I know that he lies to every single one of them, right? That if anyone believes the things that I'm saying, right, they are required by default to denounce him, right? And so this is why I wrote The Pope, right? And so I'll leave you with that. Life has a latent intellect. All psychic phenomenon, all instances of clairvoyance, right, is the adept tapping their conscious awareness into the non-locality of space, right? And manipulating the hologram accordingly, just like God, right? So, you can heal the sick, and you can destroy. Far easier. It's far easier to push something in the right direction. So, pray for me, pray for Quentin. Pray to bring this to an amicable resolution. Right? See what's good in your life. Hold those close to you dear. Right? Know that life is not an accident. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Uplift your soul to God. God bless.